whatever.
All right, welcome everybody. We're really excited here at RSULibraries to be hosting this event, Alive and the Wounded. I will admit I've known our guest speaker for 16 years now. So
You're so old.
I kind of conned him into coming out and sharing with us a bit. He likes to kind of stay back at the clinic and out of sight a little bit more. But I'm excited to introduce our speaker, Dan Hardt. He is an RSU alumni, class of 2011. And since graduation, just shortly after your graduation, he started going out and taking some supplies out off of the wish list for Hardt Ranch, which is a wildlife rescue and rehabilitation located in Claremore, Oklahoma, kind of on that Claremore-Foyle border. So he's been out there for about 11 years now. And he's here to talk to us today a little bit about, what to do when you find an animal, how to determine if it's actually abandoned, or, assess if it's, a recent injury or old injury, who to call, how to get it some help, kind of best practices, what to do, and then a little bit about Hardt Ranch itself.
Yeah. Okay. Hi guys, it's Dan. Oh, I'm kidding, seriously. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit off script of what she was saying. Because that's what I do. I'm Dan. I started college in 2005 here at RSU. Go Hillcats. Thank you for the head nod. Appreciate you. After graduating in 6 years with my bachelor's degree, no comments needed. Thank you. That's the first summer. One of my favorite professors here, Mary Mackey, post on her Facebook page that there was a guy in Tulsa trying to hunt down a goose with an arrow shot through its bottom. It's summer. I just graduated college. I have nothing to do. So I loaded up my nephews and went to look for this goose. Spent 2 weeks looking for this goose. Because again, nothing to do. Graduating college is fun sometimes. But so eventually found it. Didn't have my nephews that day. So me and this guy tried to chase it down for 3 hours. Running and running and running. I've never ran so much in my life trying to chase a goose. Trying to catch a goose that can fly is not fun. Anyways, we eventually gave up, but we did find out who the young man was that shot the arrow. And so he'll never be able to own a firearm or hunt or fish in Oklahoma, but that's okay. He was only 11. Yes. His parents got in trouble too, supposedly. But anyway, so we got end of the day. That man, whose name is Ned Bruja, asked me how long I've been volunteering at Wild Heart. And I said, what's a Wild Heart? He said, go home, look them up online. They're a good organization. See what you can do. So for the next few weeks, I started taking some donations out to them. Donations I knew that they wouldn't normally get, which was horse feed, 50-pound bags of feed. No one wants to take out to anybody. So I started doing that. Well, eventually Annette stepped outside and said, hey, you're the guy that's bringing all the feed in. Why don't you come in and see what we do? Maybe you want to volunteer. I said, sure. Started volunteering on Sundays for the first year. Then my son started his school, and then I started volunteering 6 days a week. Okay. Oh, and by the way, if you have Dr. Mackey in a class, if you need to bribe her for something, organic blueberries by the bushel is what you need to do. Just saying. Get on the good side there. Okay. Was that okay to say? Okay. Perfect. You're welcome, Dr. Mackey. Anyways. So what do you do if you find a wounded animal? First thing, make sure it's wounded. Sometimes you see a hawk or an owl on the side of the road. Guess what? It might have just had a big meal and it's too heavy to fly off. Those YouTube videos you see where an eagle swoops down, grabs a little toddler and flies off with it. It's the internet, guys. Don't believe everything you see. Are you worried about the owl in your backyard stealing your cats and dogs? Probably most likely not going to happen because they can't carry that much weight. It's just impossible. We've all seen those videos of the eagles fishing, and they go and grab a big fish, and they have to swim out of the water because the fish is too heavy. Make sure, if you see a bird that you think needs help, its wing is dragging on the ground. You see a broken bone, you see blood, that's when you know a bird needs help. Mammal, on the other hand, you see a broken leg, you see something like that, it's laying on the side of the road, still lifting its head up, it needs help. What do you do if you can't get in touch with the wildlife rehabber? Take it home, keep it warm, keep it dry. Don't get bit. And make sure you call them first thing in the morning. Don't give it anything to eat or drink. It should be fine till then. Why do you don't give it anything to eat or drink, you ask? Very good question. Because it might be going to surgery the next day. Just like with you, when you go to the doctor, your doctor says, don't eat or drink before surgery tomorrow. You're going to go in anesthesia. You don't want that. You don't want to choke on that dot. You don't. What else did you want to talk about? Note card. And that made me note cards. Did that one. Oh, my time at RSU. Students, if you don't want to come volunteer for Wild Heart Ranch, find some place to volunteer. During my time at RSU, I probably did close to 5,000 community service hours. And that's on top of being a parent half the time, full-time employee half the time, and being a member of like 15 different organizations because I, like being active. But the most fulfilling thing that I could do was find people that needed help and help them. One of my all-time favorite professors, I won't mention Kevin's name, but Dr. Kevin Wooler has a sign on his door, make sure you try to rock somebody's world today. RAOK, Random Acts of Kindness. Do a random act of kindness every day. If you can do it every day for somebody, do it. Okay, there you go. That's two professors thrown out there, right? Okay. More about Wild Heart Ranch now. Okay, Wild Heart Ranch has been around for 26 years. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Sitting here with one of our co-founders, Annette King, aka my wife, aka boss lady too, so be nice. In the 26 years that we've been here, we have rescued 75,000 animals or more and released them back to the wild. In the beginning, it was hard times because a lot of wildlife rehabbers start out and they don't know what they're doing and nobody wants to help them. My wife suffered this and she decided to never let that happen again. So she wrote the book on it. Basically, the Dummy's Guide, the Beginner's Guide to Wildlife Rehabilitation, called The Road to Release. You can find it on Amazon today, I think for $25. I think so. And you'll know what to do if you're starting out a wildlife rehabber. Does that mean you can buy the book and do it at home? No, because there's a lot more to learning it than just reading it out of a book. My role, I'm whatever she tells me to do, but I'm also the head volunteer. Yes, volunteering. To volunteer with us, you have to be 18 or older because of our liability insurance. Believe it or not, finding liability insurance when you take care of predatory animals is really hard to do. There was one of two policies that they could find, and we got the better of them. So yeah, well, let's not go there. But you have to be 18 or older. We prefer you to have your tetanus shot, your rabies shot, all your shots, get all your vaccines before you come out, because we have to not just care about your safety, but also the safety of the animals. Yes, that also means your COVID shots, because you can't name a species that they haven't found COVID in. So we have to protect the animals. Did you have a question, Elizabeth? You raise your hand. Okay. What to expect when you first start out? Believe it or not, I was very quiet and awkward when I started volunteering at Wild Heart. Don't give me that look, Dot. For the first 6 months, I wasn't allowed to do anything but fold laundry and do dishes and sweep floors. Sometimes they let me clean an animal cage. Well, then school started up and all of our volunteers went away again. And it was middle of baby season. And one director came down with shingles. And there I was in the wildlife clinic alone for 8 hours a day, texting, what do I do now? So I caught on really quick that way. I wouldn't suggest that on anybody, but she is she's a very good instructor, even over text message, on how to care for animals. Our orphan season, our what we call our heck time, thank you, yes, heck time, is between March and August. That is when we are there pretty much 19 hours a day. Dan doesn't get to sleep, but thank goodness for the drinks that give you wings, keep me awake all night. So if you guys want to come out, that's a great time to come. We need all the help we can get. We also have some cabins that we rent. You'd have to ask Annette about them. We have 3 different cabins that we rent on the property, not just to bring more people out, but it also brings income in to help support the animals. all the cabin rentals, all of my wife's book sales, the money we raise on Facebook, everything goes to helping out the animals. So if you want to just donate your money instead of your time, we can do that too. Except for you people that work at the university level, we know you don't have the money to afford that. Yeah, I know. What else do I have to talk about, dear?
We have brochures.
Oh, okay. Do you have anything to cover? Did I cover everything?
Questions?
Does anyone have questions? Yes, ma'am.
What all do I gotta do to sign up?
Fill out a volunteer application. Show up at 9 a.m. right here on the table. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's say I have, I captured something on the lot. Would you all be able to come out and get it?
No, technically that would be a nuisance animal problem. Our permits allow us to take care of the wounded or the orphaned.
I mean, if it's a wounded animal in my garage that I can't get buried.
We do our best not to go out and retrieve animals because once we start that, we have to always do that because people tell their friends and family, hey, Wildheart did this for me. So if it's a dire need, yes, we will be there. But honestly, we are skeleton crew, especially in our heck months, because we'll have anywhere from 800 to 3,000 animals in-house that we're trying to take care of, and it's all hands on deck. So, for example, if there was a dangerous animal in your garage and it needed to be captured, and they sent me out, that would be, 300 animals I couldn't feed for that hour. That was gone. Yes.
Really get it. I can be sure. So what's the best resource for folks that in a case like that?
If you live within city limits, calling animal control would be a good case. If not, we could refer you to your game wardens to see if they would be willing to come and help, but they're just as busy as we are. So we could refer you out to the nuisance animal control operators that actually get paid to go out and handle nuisance animals, but they're going to charge you a fee because that's what they do for a living. We work with 5 veterinarians.
We have one in-house and we have a full-time vet tech on staff.
Was that your question? Was that it? Was it a 2-part question? You need 3 parts?
When you talk about I'm from Oregon, and those animals actually get destroyed. You don't get, refunds because they have to rule.
No. I mean, technically in Oklahoma, it is up to the nuisance animal control operator, but we only refer out the ones that we know for sure will take them and relocate them someplace humanely. Yeah, that's not the case here. No, that's sad. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I would go to jail. I have to euthanize healthy animals.
Mm-hmm.
So in Oklahoma, there's not a policy of destroying.
No.
Destroying animals is all about a nuisance.
Correct.
Okay.
It's really the discretion of the neutral officer is how they operate, but the only ones we refer out are
The ones that relocate safely.
So is your volunteer application available online? Because
No.
a lot of our students really push volunteers.
Honestly, if you want to volunteer with us and you're a student and you're not here today because there's only like 5 people in the room today that are students. Well, okay, 3 people that are students. Calm down. I mean, I went to school with half of the people here. Some librarians, I swear. If you want to, just give me a call, shoot me a message on our Facebook page. Yes, we use Facebook, kids. We're that old. I get it. But I'll just ask what day you're going to show up. We have these at the front door, show up at 9 a.m. and we'll get you started. Some days are busier than the others, so I'll try to push you to the days that we actually need the help. Eventually come spring in our heck season, we will be doing 2 shifts, morning and then afternoon, evening shift. Because yes, we still have those 3,000 animals to feed from 3 to 9 p.m. when no one is around. Yes, dear.
What kind of place is Wild Heart Ranch? Tell me a little bit about the property and the setup.
Wild Heart Ranch. I'm looking at this camera though. I don't like your camera. But hi, folks. Wild Heart Ranch, we have 100 acres, 80 that we own, 20 that we're leasing that we hopefully will be purchasing by the end of the year this year. We have a, what is it, 50 by 60 building that runs our operation, our main clinic. Like I said before, we have 3 outbuildings, little tiny homes, if you will. We have probably a 2-acre yard where we have majority of our outdoor enclosures, as well as a 2.5 acre, you see how acre, yeah. 2.5 acre deer yard where we put our deer in for free release.
We have a couple of questions. One of them you just answered. So how can I get a volunteer application? You said,
Show up your first day and I'll give you one.
okay, great.
9 a.m. any day.
9 a.m. any day.
And then we had another question. Somebody said, Wild Heart is a wonderful organization. How do people donate and what types of donations are needed?
If you go to our website, the number 4, thewild.org, there is a needs list. If you're local and you want to drop off some supplies to us, there's also links on there to our Facebook page as well as our PayPal. That was Siri saying sorry, she didn't understand what I said. I don't even think I said anything close to that though, do you? But yeah, we do also have an Amazon wish list. I believe the link is on our website as well,
It's on the website.
which again is 4, the number 4, thewild.org.
We will actually include that link at the end of the Zoom video in our description.
Nice.
Specifically the needs.
Cool. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I've been trying to clean out my house here in Pueblo since I moved away in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And can you use cat carriers?
Honestly, right now, we don't have a need for them. We have so many right now that we gift them out to other rescues that need them.
The Claremore shelter. Sometimes when they adopt animals out there, they have extras, so we can use them.
Yeah.
So you said you don't need cat carriers
No.
right now? Where did you say?
The Claremore Animal Shelter. Can also call Oklahoma Animal Alliance. They're a big cat and dog rescue in Tulsa that always have a need.
How about, like, yard tools, like the rake?
Oh, sure.
Yard tools?
Mhm.
Rakes and shovels and, I have lots of dish towels, use like those kind of things.
Mhm.
And old towels.
Yeah.
If you're not stringy.
No.
Yeah, if you're not
No.
stringy, we can use them.
Dish towels, blankets, as long as they're not stringy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am. Stringy crap, little fingers and toes.
Thanks for coming, girls.
With my rake,
I don't know.
with my shovel.
So Dan, what are your days off?
I remember that one day in December. Normally my days off are when I throw out my back or have a kidney stone. Next question.
I have one more. I'm
Okay,
sorry, I can't
yeah.
remember all the questions, but
You're
I have a
fine.
domestic dog house. It's like about this thin, and you don't take the top off, it's lightweight, and I put it in my car.
No,
God, you don't have like animals.
we already have a lot. No, we have plenty for our animals, but thank you.
We do the dog houses, the dog houses that we use come apart.
Yeah, this is how mine is too, it does come apart, not
Mm-hmm.
usually, but the top.
You can bring it in, if we don't need it, we'll donate it to dog rescue.
Yeah.
We do a lot of that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find.
Yes, ma'am.
So on your thing, this is experiencing caring for wildlife or other animals, does that count as like
Pets.
pets?
Mm-hmm.
Cause I had taken care of like 3 parrots, used to have.
Okay,
4,
yeah. And we also just want you to admit your wildlife crimes to us.
Yeah.
It's good for blackmail.
If somebody fills out a volunteer application, it goes on and on about all their pet records our babies. Because one thing we don't do is unnecessarily handle the animals, because we want them to leave and avoid people.
Can you talk a little bit more about the process of like what it means to rehabilitate and then release these animals? Can you talk a little bit about that process?
I could, yes. Next question. That was a good one, right? I haven't changed it at all. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's say you bring us a baby squirrel. What we do is we hand raise it, which means we feed it every 3 hours around the clock. Well, not at night. I get a little sleep time at night that I don't sleep in. But we feed them every 3 hours. We keep them warm and dry, like I said before, on how to keep them healthy. Then eventually when they start to open their eyes, we start getting more and more hands off. We'll set up cages for them where they can feed themselves on their own when they're ready for that. Eventually we'll move them outside into caging. I say caging. People get upset when I say caging. Enclosures. And then eventually they will release from there. You bring us an injured animal. Well, we have our vets and vet tech on staff. They take care of the wounds and the medicine for them. Then we get them back to healthy condition. We put them outside in an enclosure outside, and we wait for them to be healthy enough to release, and we release them back out into the wild.
We have another online question. Someone mentioned a car kit to have in case of an animal needs rescue or transport. What should have on hand for that?
Easiest car kit in the world. Leather gloves, a pillowcase, and a zip tie. Leather gloves, get it, shove the animal into your pillowcase, zip tie it shut, bring it to us. A pillowcase is never going to be thick enough, they can't breathe through it. Usually, if they're young enough, they won't be able to break out of it. If you're trying to put an adult raccoon in a pillowcase, I'm sorry for your car. I apologize to your parents for giving you that advice. If it's an adult animal, you want to get a cage for it. But generally, just a pillowcase, a pair of leather gloves, and a zip tie will work.
Another thing that I have done, because I also volunteer out there, is a storage tent with some air holes drilled in it. Put a nice, fluffy, warm towel or something in the bottom. That lid secures pretty well. You can get it to safety. I'm folded cardboard box in my house. So that works. I mean, as long as there's air holes.
So what does it mean to release an animal? Where do you release an animal?
Technically, we are legally allowed to release on any private property we have permission to release on, and any federally or state-ran properties. Other than that, I can't give you advice on where to release because that goes way against what I'm willing to take liability for. But yes.
Tell everybody what species release on our property and what we move.
On our property, we release the squirrels, the possums, the rabbits, and the birds. Everything else we move. Oh, and the deer. Well, the deer, they just jump the fence and release themselves. So, but everything else we move away. All the raccoons, the skunks, and all the predators, because we like our neighbors and we don't want them getting upset with us. I mean, let's face it, largest animal, on a typical year, that would be our white-tailed deer. On what she used to do before I showed up, she'd get bears in, one every 2 or 3 years. And for the past 11 years that I've been there, there's not been a single bear. I think sometimes she just, staged a stuffed bear in the pictures for her to hold, trying to make me think that we're going to get a bear one day. But that's not why I'm there. So whatever. Some people are right. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Well, when a mama bear meets a daddy bear and they fall in love, we do have bear in Oklahoma. Yes.
We've had 2 bear calls within a mile from our facility. An adult in a tree that we anesthetized and moved, and then a baby that was hit in the highway. I think it was probably maybe about 20 years ago. And I remember that there was a wild cat that we had. My cougar. And now she died in 2012. I had her 14 years. She was somebody's illegal pet, and they had removed her claws, so she could be released.
That's another good question. So since this is sort of like a preserve, what about illegal pets? Do you guys think an illegal exotic?
For illegal pets, if you're asking if we will take in the pet raccoon that somebody's had for 5 years, case by case basis there. I'm not going to say that, no, we might not, no, we won't take it in, but you better have a darn good reason other than I found it out in the woods, I took it home, and I fell in love with it, so I decided to keep it. Or, yes, I took it home 2 years ago, and I couldn't find your phone number, but here I am today, and I really need help with it because now it's a full-grown adult, and it's trying to kill my entire family. Yes. Exotics. Exotics, we have taken some exotics in over the years. We still have some. Others we have adopted out to better homes. That were, you know, when an exotic comes in and needs a lot of attention, we find it that attention.
Are you required to report when you find cases of like abuse or?
Legally, we are mandatory reporters because of our permits that we have to have as wildlife rehabbers. But instead of sending a young man that's had a pet squirrel in his dorm room for the past 5 years to jail, we'd rather just try to find that squirrel some help. You're so busted. Any other questions? Yes.
I remember when y'all had the baby cat, you were taking donations for freezer bone meat. Are you still doing that?
Yes.
Do you need it?
We fill our freezers every time that we can with freezer burnt meat, as long as it's not too freezer burnt. Because there are some times that it's so freezer burnt that even the animals won't eat it.
We try to rescue animals from the trash, basically. You know, we hate seeing meat go in the trash, so if we can use it, we do.
Let's say there's roadkill, is that?
No. No, once an animal's been hit by a car, the insides kind of go everywhere, and then the meat is spoiled.
And it's hard to diagnose disease.
Yeah.
So we used to pick up fresh roadkill squirrels for our bobcat when he was alive, because that was his favorite treat.
Yeah.
The weather has been really, really strange this winter. Are you guys seeing any sort of, like, is this affecting what you guys are getting in or how much you're expecting?
Our baby season has taken a very slow start this year, yes. The extended winter is very strange. We normally have had, what, 20, 30 squirrels by now, and we've had 8.
And then, well, we've had about 11 squirrels, but we did have possums come in 3 months early.
Yeah.
They were beat up, they couldn't survive. They did run over, but yeah, 3 months early. So that was weird.
Do you have any sort of way of like predicting how much you guys think you'll get in this season?
We're always gonna be over 3,000 intakes. I would imagine raccoons are gonna be heavy because of the lack of help. Fawns, same reason. But we'll do 500 to 1,000 birds, at least 500 possums, 200-300 skunks. Those are our numbers, but yeah, we do over 2,000.
Look at her.
orphaned. Huh?
She's looking at you now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You can get up here
all
too.
The numbers are here. He doesn't.
I don't know
He
anything.
doesn't know anything about the numbers. But yeah, the most labor intensive and expensive are the deer and the raccoons, and we're predicting record numbers of both of those this year, just because so many people have had to quit doing it. Financial hardship being the number one reason. But we're going strong. We're making sure we're shored up and stable, and we have all of our formula already purchased for the whole year, which was $21,000 raised by these people that are watching us now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys are mainly donation and like both supply and monetary donation driven.
Yes.
So
Yep.
what is?
Yeah, we get no state or federal funding. Everything that we get, we have to ask, beg, and borrow for.
What's the average cost for like some of the most common types of species?
Deer average $1,000 a head. We average 25 to 50 fawns. Raccoons are the next most expensive, and they average 350 to to 500 apiece, depending on how long we have them. And we'll do 150 to 200 raccoons this year. So yeah, do the math, it's ridiculous. No.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever had any coyotes or so what was the
A majority of coyotes we've gotten in were mange or injuries. I did get one that was a mama that was caught in a foothold trap and gave birth while she was in the foothold trap. Lots of orphan coyotes. There's a lot of farmers and ranchers out there that think the circle of life doesn't involve coyotes, so they take them out and then find babies later and then bring them to us. So,
Do you guys ever raise any vultures?
yeah, every year.
Writing a paper about protecting vultures.
We love our wolves.
Love our vultures.
There's a lot of birds of prey, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the most common bird?
As far as owls, it would be barred owls. Hawks would be red-tailed hawks. Vultures, it would be the turkey vulture, but we have plenty of black vultures too. Was that correct, Annette?
Yes.
Okay. Yay, I got one right.
Yeah.
Now that hurt. Any other questions? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Well, 2 years ago when we had an otter, we were spending $3,000 a month on fish to feed the otter, but not for a rescue. Nature. They are moving more north in Oklahoma. I mean, we can't forget that the North American river otter is very widely, vastly seen throughout Canada. So it's not that it's too far north. It's just that we probably wiped them out so far in the fur trade that used to be around this area that we just don't see them anymore. Mm-hmm. Yep. I cannot confirm nor deny that we have big cats in the area. That was such a state-refined question, wasn't it? Which obviously, since I cannot confirm or deny, I'm not saying no. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will say this, that also on our property, if you rent the cabin, I have about 8 miles of hiking trails. I will say hike the trails on your own accord. When we first moved out, I didn't have the really cool tractor that I have now with the brush hog on it to make those trails better. I had a little riding lawnmower, and I also have a bad back. So one day I'm doing a little riding lawnmower, making the trails around it, and I see a big plume of a tail. There's only one animal in Oklahoma with a big plume of a tail that you know about as tall as I am. I'm not going to say what it is because supposedly they don't exist in this part of Oklahoma, but they do. And though I'm going along my little riding mower and I look over and I'm just down the hill by the pond. And then as I'm going that way, I get high centered on my little riding lawnmower. So I start rocking it back and forth. And of course, it's not going to do it because I'm high centered. What do you do? And I've got a bad back. So what am I going to do? Oh no. And then I see the big plume of a tail getting closer. So what do? I jump off the little lawnmower. I pick it up and I throw it about 5 or 6 feet. I jump back on it and ride it back away thinking, man, I could walk faster than this thing. I'm dead. So yeah, they're here too. Plenty of them.
We have a black bear that visits our blackberry patches and feeds from our bird feeders.
Yes, and we'll come and just to drink out of our pond in our yard and poo there so we know that he's there.
You have trail cameras?
Yeah, but when a bear leaves his droppings, you know that he's been there. But yes, I have we have cameras all over the property to protect the animals as well as the clinic itself. So yeah, you can't walk around our place without me knowing that you're there. I get text messages all day long about it.
So are your 8 miles of trails, are they runnable or hikeable?
I will say hike at your own riskable. Mm-hmm. I would not try to run on them. I mean, it basically is an open pasture field, half of it, where I've taken the brush hog and mowed through it. I have not flattened them out. I'm keeping the ground the way it is. I've just cut down the brush. There are 2 old homesteads on the property, a hand-dug 16-foot deep well. I've found a old rock-laid dam in one of the streams. There's probably more civilization out there that I haven't found yet, as well as 5 or 6 terracotta well pipes. Yeah, you heard me, terracotta. Why would they use terracotta? It didn't seem logical, but they're there. So, yeah.
What social media platforms can people follow you on?
The easiest one is Facebook. If you want to do TikTok, Stupid Cute One is Annette's TikTok. Hers is so much better than mine because she has better video ideas than I do. I'm just Dan. Yeah. And I think there's an Instagram page floating out there, but we don't have control of it. But I don't know.
I'm working on that.
Yeah,
How often do you guys go live?
on Facebook, I try to go live every day. Sometimes twice a day. Sometimes 3 times a day.
What kind of things can people expect to see you do when they watch you on
Dishes.
there?
He fixed the toilet once.
I did.
on Facebook.
I literally, I swapped out a toilet live on Facebook.
People still-
But, Yeah, I don't know why they still watch me. But no, generally it's me taking care of the animals. Everything I do is for animal care, except for the time I change out the toilet. Sometimes I just take a walk in the woods with our dogs down the trails. Eventually, I might, when I still have spare time when the spring and summer get here, be out on the homestead sites metal detecting, because I think there's a lot of history there that I don't know that I want to know. So,
And he'll take the wolves for a run. You do that live.
Yeah,
And
nice.
sometimes you take people for breakfast.
have I done that live?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go to the bait store.
Yeah, I'll take people to the bait store.
He'll be driving with the
Yeah, we'll go on road trips.
road trip, sightseeing.
Mm-hmm.
We have another question online.
Okay.
Couple.
A couple?
So how much to rent a cabin, and is it, like, what's the amount of time you can rent it for, long-term, short-term?
Yes.
I got this one. We have 3 cabins. We have a queen that sleeps 2, queen bed sleeps 2 for $350 a night. A full-size bed for 1 or 2 people, $250 a night. Then we have a long-term rental cabin, which is a 5-night minimum at $150 a night. And check-ins at 9 a.m., check-out is by 9 p.m., so you get the full day.
You can turn the camera on yourself when you're talking so that people can see you.
Then I'd have to remember how to push the button. so.
Okay. No, you can just literally go like that.
Yeah, probably. It's
Okay.
okay.
Your other question?
Oh, that was
It was a 2-part question.
And the
Okay.
cabins are really nice. They're fully equipped.
And-
Really cute.
And hopefully, eventually, before the first bookings, I'll have internet out there in case you want to watch Netflix at night.
Working on it.
I'm working on it.
So, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty poor, so I don't have any money, I don't have a car or like,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm willing to literally do anything.
Okay.
So, is there a way I could get over there? I don't know where you guys are at, from Claremore at least.
From Claremore to us, we're basically right smack dab between Claremore and Chelsea. For you to get out there, I can't commit that one of our volunteers will be able to come out and get you because, again, when we start, it's all hands on deck. But if you have a friend that wants to bring you out, drop you off for a few hours, and come back and get you later, or if you have a friend that wants to come out and volunteer with you, we're open to any of that.
Yeah, because I would like to try to do it on the weekends. if
Okay.
possible.
Yeah.
Because obviously, college, you
Mhm.
guys have class time.
Mhm.
Can't do it every day, sadly, but.
I mean, we're there 365 days a year. So if you get bored on Christmas, we're there.
It's really cute because our followers on our Facebook feed are answering the questions.
Huh?
I just love our followers. They know all this stuff. But Yeah.
Except for Janice, who thinks she just knows it all.
Janice does know it all.
Uh-huh.
By Janice. She saves me so much time.
Mm-hmm.
How many volunteers do you usually have?
Today, for example, we had one.
There's
Uh,
4 people.
Yesterday, there were 4. We do have a clinic manager there every shift. But as far as a volunteer showing up today, we had our 1 volunteer, even though that me and Annette showed up as well. You know, I should count myself as a volunteer, but I'm saying from outside my front yard, we had 1 person there. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and weekends, for whatever reason, are always slow on volunteers. But yeah, it varies too. I mean, one Friday we'll have 12 people there. The next Friday we'll have 2.
But during our busiest time of the year, we need at least 20 people a day. So we are recruiting.
And if anybody has a good cloning machine, I've got lots of DNA I'll throw in there. Because a world with more Dans would be great.
You could give one piece of advice to somebody, you know, as they were to find, if they were to find an animal and they didn't know what to do.
One piece of advice. Please don't feed it anything. Google is always wrong. Every single time, Google is wrong. Okay, hi, I'm Dan. Seriously, just keep it warm, keep it dry. Don't give it anything to eat or drink. One wrong meal can literally mean the life of that animal that you found. So don't try. What used to work for grandma and grandpa, I promise you, that product has changed in the past 50 years since grandma and grandpa had that pet raccoon. Don't try it. Leave it to the professionals. That's what we're here for.
What would be the best way for them to contact you?
With their telephone. Okay,
Versus,
yeah.
versus Facebook Messenger versus.
Facebook Messenger, we're not always available to answer it, so calling us at the clinic is the easiest way to reach us.
They can find that info.
On our website,
918-342
Google.
Wild.
Yes, if you don't know, kids, the numbers on your phone also have corresponding letters. So it's either wild or 9453, either way. Okay. They don't always know that, dear.
Millennials do, because we used to have to like.
Yes.
3 times to actually,
Yes.
like, go through every letter.
Anything else? Okay. Well, thanks for joining me today. Do you want to have a sign off too? Since you've been talking in the shadows the entire time.
I prefer being off to the side.
Uh-huh.
But yes, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. I would just say if you have any other questions, especially if you're interested in trying to volunteer, whether you are a student here at RSU who maybe needs hours for honors or PLC or a scholarship that you've got or are applying for, or whether you're just interested in general, definitely reach out either through their Facebook page or search up their address and just show up at 9 a.m. And you can fill out the application form on site. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
My sad one finally gets up.